A video of my boyfriend proposing to his secretary went viral, topping the trending charts. Everyone called it the most romantic, touching moment they'd ever seen. The secretary even posted a heartfelt message. "I've waited so long for you, and I'm so glad I never gave up. Mr. Stone, here's to spending the rest of my life with you." The comments section exploded. "I'm obsessed. The boss and the secretary. The sweetest couple ever." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just closed the page and went to find my boyfriend for an explanation. That's when I overheard him talking to a friend. What else could I do? If I don't marry her, her family will force her to settle for someone she doesn't love. But what about Natalie? She's your actual girlfriend. Aren't you afraid she'll be mad? So, what if she's mad? Natalie's been with me for 7 years. She can't leave me now. Fast forward to our wedding day. Yes, our wedding day. On that same day, he was tying the knot with his secretary while I was walking down the aisle with someone else. Our wedding cars passed each other on the street. When we exchanged bouquets with the brides from the other car, he caught sight of me through the window. The moment he saw me in my wedding dress, his composure shattered completely. "Mom, I've decided to go through with the arranged marriage." In the dimly lit living room, my voice sounded distant and numb, almost like it didn't belong to me. My mom was stunned. "You weren't willing before. Why the sudden change?" "Natalie, marriage isn't a joke, whether it's arranged or not. What matters is your happiness. You need to think this through. Don't rush into it." Her words made my chest tighten. For a moment, my eyes stung with tears. "Mom, I've thought it through. You can start planning the wedding." Mom paused, sensing something in me, then softly reassured me. "You've been with Zachary for so long, and he still won't go public with your relationship. He hasn't even agreed to meet us. Your dad and I have known for a while that things wouldn't last between you two." Her words felt like a knife twisting in my chest. Everyone could see the truth so clearly. The only fool here was me. The Ford boy is someone your dad and I carefully picked years ago. Not only is he from a solid family, but he's also a man of great character. "Natalie, you deserve the best." I took a deep breath. "Thanks, Mom. I trust you and Dad's judgment." Mom continued. "Do you want us to arrange a meeting with him in the next few days?" "There's no need. Just go ahead and plan the wedding." After I hung up, I realized Zachary had appeared behind me at some point, holding a small cake. He looked confused. "A wedding? Who's getting married?" "I am. I'm the one getting married." I answered him silently in my heart, but the words never left my lips. Instead, I kept my expression calm and shook my head. "No one. Just a friend." The tension in his shoulders eased, his face relaxed, and it made my heart ache all over again. Was he nervous because he thought I was pressuring him into marriage, or because he assumed it was he and Arya, his perfect secretary, tying the knot? "I brought you your favorite cake from that bakery you love. Want to eat it now?" Once, Zachary would bring me little treats after work, snacks and desserts he thought I'd enjoy, even if I didn't always like them. The thoughtfulness made me feel cherished, remembered, loved. But now, staring at the cake in his hands, all I felt was bitter irony. Not long ago, I'd seen Arya's social media posts. I couldn't scroll far before the truth hit me like a slap. This cake wasn't for me. It was Arya's favorite. Not just the cake, the nuts, the snacks, all the little treats he used to bring me. They were all hers too. His habit of bringing me food had only started after Arya joined his company. "So, Zachary, when you handed me those treats, who were you really thinking of? Me or her?" Swallowing the lump in my throat, I said flatly, "I don't like sweets anymore. They're too much. Don't buy them for me again." Zachary blinked, surprised. "What? That's not true. You've never had a problem eating them before." We'd been together for years, yet if he truly cared about me, how could he not know my preferences? I didn't argue. I simply shrugged. My taste has changed recently. For days, Zachary had been so busy, he didn't even remember my birthday. Not that it mattered anymore, I didn't care. Then, as if the thought had just struck him, he tried to make it up to me by buying tickets to my favorite Broadway musical. It was wildly popular, nearly impossible to get tickets for. I had managed to snag one myself, so when Zachary said he had 2 tickets and invited me, I agreed. On the day of the show, I waited for him. And waited. Instead of Zachary, I saw a post from Arya on Instagram flaunting 2 tickets to the very same musical. Her caption read, "Bored, so I decided to catch a show." It's the best feeling to have someone who's always there for you, no matter what. The photo didn't show their faces, but I recognized the hand immediately. That scar, unmistakable, Zachary's, from the time he was hurt saving me years ago. I felt like a fool. While I stood outside in the rain, worried something had happened to him, Zachary was inside, sitting in VIP seats with his secretary. Ice-cold raindrops pelted my face, soaking my clothes, chilling me to the bone. But my heart felt even colder. My phone buzzed with a message from my mom. The wedding was set for 2 weeks from now. If I thought it was rushed, you could push it back. I shook my head and replied, "No need. Let's keep it as planned." The heavy rain had brought the city to a standstill. Traffic was a mess, and cabs were impossible to find. Finally, Zachary called. His voice was casual, as if nothing were wrong. "Why aren't you at home?" I kept my tone calm, devoid of emotion. "I'm at the Broadway Theater." A pause then. "I'm sorry. Something came up this afternoon, and I couldn't make it. Stay where you are, I'll come get you." I didn't argue, knowing he wouldn't show up. And I was right. Moments later, Arya updated her Instagram again. He didn't want me catching a cold in the rain, so he made ginger tea just for me. A man who cooks is the most attractive. Marry him. The photo showed Zachary's back at the stove. I stared at it for a moment, then calmly exited the app. The rain left me with a fever and a nasty cold. I used it as an excuse to move out of the master bedroom, claiming I didn't want to infect him. I relocated to the guest room instead. For once, he stayed home from work to take care of me, but I couldn't stand it. "It's just a cold," I said, tone neutral. "I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. You should go back to work." He frowned, studying me. "You used to want me around the most when you were sick. What's with the sudden change?" I lowered my head, hiding the emotions in my eyes, forcing a small smile. I was immature back then. I'm not like that anymore. His brows furrowed. "Natalie, are you okay?" "I'm fine. Go on, really." He didn't seem convinced, but after staring a while, he finally sighed. "All right, call me if you need anything." As soon as he left, I exhaled and fell into a deep sleep. When I woke, another message from my mom had arrived. The finalized wedding plans, along with photos of over a dozen dresses, asking me to pick one. I scrolled absentmindedly, enlarging photos to examine them. I was so absorbed that I didn't notice Zachary until he snatched my phone and tossed it aside. "What are you doing looking at wedding dresses?" he demanded, his face dark with irritation. For a moment, I thought he'd realized that I was planning my own wedding. But then his next words stopped me cold. "Natalie, is this your way of pressuring me to marry you? I told you I'd marry you eventually. You don't have to resort to tricks like this. It's pathetic." "You've got it all wrong. I'm not." He waved me off. "I'm busy. I'll be going now." A word of advice. Stop pulling these stunts to wear down what's left of my feelings for you. The door slammed behind him, leaving the house silent. For a long time, I stood there, unmoving, then let out a bitter laugh. "Zachary, how much of your so-called feelings for me even remain? What's left to wear down? In the past, a misunderstanding like this would have left me devastated. But now, I pulled myself together and went back to reviewing the wedding details. Before closing my messages, I instinctively clicked on a notification in my social media app. A rare update from Zachary appeared. When someone this amazing comes into your life, you marry them and keep them close. The photo was a solo shot of Arya, alongside their wedding invitation. Within minutes, one of our mutual friends commented, "Bro, so you've already swapped out the bride? That was fast." Not long after, Zachary's post disappeared, only to reappear on Arya's Instagram feed. Then my phone rang. If this had been the past, I would have screenshot the post, called him, demanded answers, and likely erupted in a screaming match. But this time, I let it ring, and then ring again. I didn't answer. Surprisingly, I didn't feel upset. Maybe I'd grown up. My first thought wasn't anger or heartbreak. It was mild amusement at the coincidence. Their wedding was scheduled the same day as mine. That night, when Zachary came home, I was already in bed, pretending to sleep. "Natalie, are you awake? I tried calling you. Why didn't you answer?" I kept my back to him, voice muffled. I must have fallen asleep. Didn't hear it. He sighed in relief and leaned down to feel my forehead. "Is your fever gone?" As he got closer, the cloying scent of sweet perfume hit me like a punch. My stomach churned, and I had to fight the urge to gag. Without thinking, I shifted away from him. "Natalie," he asked cautiously, "did you see something?" I buried myself deeper under the blankets.
No.
I'm just not feeling well. I want to sleep. I slept through the night and woke feeling lighter, like a weight had been lifted. With a clear head, I started packing my things, systematically erasing every trace of myself in the house. That's when I realized how many little couples items I'd bought over the years. At first, he had used them with me, but gradually, they'd been shoved aside, collecting dust. I packed them all into a box and dumped it in the trash. Then I found an old scrapbook, filled with photos of our trips, postcards, train tickets from long-distance days, and letters he'd written me. It was a record of our years together. But after Arya arrived, the pages had stopped being filled. No new photos, no new memories. By the time Zachary came home, I was tossing the scrapbook into the fireplace. He rushed in, snatched the burning book with his bare hands, ignoring the burns. Are you insane? Do you have any idea how important this scrapbook is to us? Why would you burn it? Zachary rarely raised his voice at me. This was the first time. His anger was genuine, but so was the betrayal I'd just discovered. I didn't argue. The scrapbook had gotten moldy and infested with bugs. Don't worry, I've backed up all the photos and mementos. I'll make a new one eventually. His anger finally subsided. Later, as I applied ointment to his burn, he stared at me with an intensity one couldn't place. Natalie, he said suddenly, you've seemed off lately. Is work stressing you out? I've booked a personalized vacation package for you. Take some time off to relax. I paused mid-motion, ointment still in hand, and looked up at him. Just me? You're not coming. Zachary sighed, his tone laced with regret. I'm swamped with work. I really can't get away this time. Next time, I promise, okay? But Zachary, there won't be a next time. I lowered my head and resumed applying the ointment. It might be hard for me to get time off from work. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it for you. I shook my head, trying to push back, but he wouldn't relent. I don't want to go, I said firmly. His tone turned commanding, leaving no room for argument. Be good. The tickets are already booked, and they're non-refundable. I didn't respond, but a chill crept through my chest. I thought back to the night before, half asleep, when I'd overheard him on the phone. I don't plan on telling her. As long as I can keep it hidden, I will. A pause. Then, and when the wedding's over, what then? You're just going to make her the other woman? For a long moment, Zachary didn't speak. I could almost hear him exhaling, slow and heavy. Finally, he said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The pain in my chest was suffocating. Tears streamed down my face as I lay there, feeling like the past 7 years had been nothing but a cruel joke. Zachary, have I ever truly known you? If you didn't love me anymore, why couldn't you just tell me? Why resort to lies and deception? Were you so afraid I'd cling to you that you had to send me away during your wedding? You didn't need to go to such lengths. Don't worry, Zachary. I'll disappear from your life, just like you want. When's the flight? I asked him. 2 days from now, he replied. I smiled faintly. All right, I'll go. Relief washed over his face, and he instinctively reached out to ruffle my hair. I leaned back slightly, dodging his hand without making a scene. He froze for a moment, then laughed as if nothing had happened. Let's have dinner together before you go, okay? I hesitated, then nodded. Tomorrow marked 7 years since we first got together. It seemed poetic, in a way, to end it on the same date it began, to say goodbye properly and close this chapter. The next evening, I arrived early at the restaurant. Zachary showed up on time, but not alone. Arya was with him. Natalie, she chirped, voice sweet and artificial. Mr. Stone and I were running errands nearby and thought we'd tag along. Hope you don't mind. I nodded, but inside, disappointment welled up. So much for a proper goodbye. Zachary ordered a table full of plain, mild dishes. Arya giggled. Mr. Stone, these dishes are way too bland. They're probably not to Natalie's taste, are they? Zachary didn't look up. You're on your period. You shouldn't eat anything too spicy. Then, as if to prove his point, he had the waiter replace Arya's iced drink with warm ginger tea. She pouted playfully. You're overreacting. You just care too much about me. Zachary reached out and tapped her lightly on the forehead, teasing. If I don't watch out for you, you'll end up crying about stomach cramps later. The two of them flirted shamelessly, as if I didn't exist. I watched with detached indifference, feeling nothing but hollow emptiness. Halfway through the meal, someone suddenly shouted, "Fire!" The restaurant erupted into chaos. People scrambled toward the exits. I stood up, but before I could react, Zachary darted past me. I turned just in time to see him grab Arya, shielding her with his body as he hurried toward the door. For a brief moment, time seemed to fold in on itself. The scene blurred, replaced by a memory from years ago. An 18-year-old Zachary throwing himself into harm's way to protect me during a similar panic. But that Zachary no longer existed. By the time they reached safety, Zachary finally noticed me standing a few steps away. His face was filled with guilt and disbelief. Natalie, I didn't mean to leave you. I cut him off with a smile. It's fine. I understand. 2 days later, I packed my bags, erasing every trace of myself from the house. Without looking back, I walked out the door. Of course, I didn't board the flight Zachary had arranged. Instead, I returned to my parents' house to prepare for my wedding. My big day was just around the corner. Zachary, meanwhile, was too busy trying on tuxedos and picking floral arrangements with Arya to notice my absence. On my wedding day, I met my fiancé, Austin, for the first time. Tall, fit, classically handsome, he was every bit the perfect gentleman. The wedding procession was grand, with an impressive convoy of cars. As we made our way through the streets, our car passed another convoy heading the opposite direction. Both sides stopped briefly, as custom dictated, to exchange bouquets between the brides. The car windows rolled down, and then I saw him, Zachary. Our eyes met, and shock and disbelief flooded his face. His voice trembled as he choked out, "Natalie, how is it you?" Zachary couldn't believe his eyes. His heart raced wildly as he muttered to himself, "I must be seeing things. My Natalie is on vacation. She couldn't possibly be here. This has to be a hallucination. I must miss her too much." Arya, sitting beside him, looked equally stunned. She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing, searching for words, but none came out. In stark contrast, I remained calm, my expression neutral. I handed the bouquet over to Arya. She snapped out of her daze, hesitantly taking it and fumbling to pass her bouquet to me in return. I smiled faintly. "Congratulations. Wishing you both the best." The car window rolled up and the vehicle drove off. The two wedding caravans moved in opposite directions, heading down completely separate paths, just like Zachary and me, destined to part ways. As the car pulled away, I thought I heard a desperate, heart-wrenching scream behind me. Instinctively, I turned my head toward the sound. Before I could see anything, Austin, seated next to me, gently placed his hand over my eyes. His voice, soft but tinged with frustration, whispered near my ear, "Natalie, you promised." No looking back. Was it my imagination? Or did he sound upset? It seemed impossible. After all, we were practically strangers, brought together by an arranged marriage. There shouldn't be room for emotions like disappointment or frustration. I brushed off the thought, blaming the chaos for my unsettled mind. Gently removing Austin's hand, I said firmly, "Don't worry. I believe in keeping my word. I agreed to this marriage, and I'll honor the commitment. There's no going back." Besides, Zachary wasn't worth it. Not anymore. In the other car, Zachary sat frozen, his mind racing. Something was horribly wrong. Ignoring Arya's protests, he immediately called the airline to check my flight details. The response made his blood run cold. I hadn't boarded the plane. His hands trembled as he dialed the travel agency next. "Did the tour guide pick up Natalie yet?" "No, sir. There's no record of her joining the group," came the reply. It felt as if the ground had collapsed beneath him. The bride in that car, it was Natalie. She lied to me. She never went on the trip. "Natalie." He rolled down the car window and shouted desperately toward my wedding procession, but all he heard was the fading hum of the engine. Beside him, Arya tried to console him. "Zachary, you're mistaken. It's impossible. That woman just looked a little like Natalie." But Zachary wasn't listening. He barked at the driver, his voice deadly serious. "Turn the car around. Follow that car. Now." The driver hesitated. Arya leaned forward, panicked. "Don't turn around. Keep driving." She turned to Zachary, voice softening. "Even if it was her, it doesn't matter. She has nothing to do with us anymore. Today is our wedding day. Don't let someone else ruin it. Whatever it is, we can talk after the ceremony, okay?" Zachary wasn't having it. He shoved her aside, shocking even himself. "Get out of my way." His eyes burned with fury. "Turn the car around. Now." The driver, intimidated by his murderous glare, finally obeyed. The car screeched into a U-turn, speeding toward my wedding procession. Aria's panic turned to hysteria. Zachary, today is our wedding. The guests are waiting. How can you abandon everything like this? We need to go back. What about our parents? Everyone at the venue. But Zachary didn't care. Then the wedding's off, he snapped. Aria's face went pale. No, you can't. You promised responsibility. Tears streamed down her face, but her sobs fell on deaf ears. Zachary didn't even look at her. Responsibility? Who's taking responsibility for me? My girlfriend is marrying someone else, and I can't do a damn thing. I just want her back. As he urged the driver to speed up, Aria lunged for the steering wheel. The driver panicked, shouting. Zachary pulled her away, and chaos erupted. Car horns blared, metal screeched, and then silence. The wedding convoy soon arrived at the hotel. During a quick break to fix my makeup, I checked my phone. Messages and missed calls flooded my screen. Most were from Zachary. Natalie, please pick up. I was wrong. Please come back. Don't marry someone else. I'm begging you. I can't lose you. But there were messages from Aria too, filled with mockery. Today is my wedding day with Zachary. He sent you away because he was afraid you'd cause trouble. If you have self-respect, let him go. The one who isn't loved is the real third wheel. Do you really think Zachary hasn't broken up with you because he loves you? No. He just pities you. He doesn't love you anymore. You're old, dull, and lifeless. Compared to me, you're nothing. When he's with me, he feels alive. But you're just a tired, washed-up woman who makes him sick to look at. I stared at her childish words, feeling nothing but mild amusement. If her relationship was as strong as she claimed, why was she so insecure? A winner should be confident, not sneaking around, sending petty texts. This wasn't the first time she'd tried to provoke me. Years ago, I had brought Zachary lunch to care for him while he worked himself to exhaustion. Then Aria entered the picture. At first, she delivered meals under the guise of helping him save time, never avoiding me. Natalie, she'd say sweetly, you and Mr. Stone are my biggest benefactors. I see how hard he works, and it's my responsibility to take care of him. Zachary didn't see the problem. She's just repaying a debt of gratitude. Her cooking isn't even half as good as yours. Natalie, trust me, don't let your imagination run wild. When I expressed discomfort, he called Aria into his office while I was there. With his arm casually draped over my shoulder, he said, Aria, you don't need to bring me food anymore. Focus on your job. Natalie takes care of all my meals. Aria turned pale, eyes filling with tears. I'm so sorry, Natalie. I didn't mean harm. I just wanted to help Mr. Stone. Please don't be mad at him because of me. Her dramatic reaction felt calculated. Even then, I shared my thoughts with Zachary afterward, but he dismissed them. I've already told her to stop. Relax, Natalie. Be happy. Aria stopped bringing meals, and for a while, things seemed calm. I even felt guilty for doubting her. But then I got sick and couldn't bring Zachary lunch for a while. And that's when everything began to unravel. The next time I brought lunch to Zachary, Aria greeted me with her usual exaggerated cheer. But my eyes immediately locked onto the necklace around her neck, the same one I owned. It had been a gift from Zachary for our anniversary. I still remembered how Aria had gushed about it back then. This necklace is gorgeous. Zachary has such great taste. You're so lucky, Natalie. Someone like me will probably never get the chance to wear something this beautiful. At the time, her words had left me uneasy. Now, seeing it on her, that unease twisted into something far worse. Noticing my gaze, Aria smiled, completely unfazed. Oh, this, she said casually. Mr. Stone gave it to me. Later, I confronted Zachary. He brushed it off, saying it was just a token of appreciation for her hard work. I was overthinking things, he said. That same day, I realized I'd left my purse in his office and went back to retrieve it. What I found shattered me. The lunch I had painstakingly prepared for him sat untouched in the trash. For the first time, Aria didn't bother pretending. She smirked mockingly. Sis, I don't eat cilantro. Next time, leave it out, okay? It hit me like a bolt of lightning. Zachary had been giving my food to her. I barely remember leaving that office. I only remember the fight that followed, the biggest argument in all the years we'd been together. We didn't speak for a month. Eventually, I caved, telling myself it was because of all the good times we'd shared. because of the man Zachary used to be. The Zachary I fell in love with was someone I couldn't reconcile with the man standing by Aria's side. Looking back, Zachary and I had been childhood sweethearts. I always believed we'd grow old together, that our story would never end. I never imagined we'd become strangers. The summer before high school, my parents moved to another state for work. To avoid disrupting my education, they left me with my aunt. My aunt was rarely home, leaving me mostly alone with my cousins, who made it clear I didn't belong. My older cousin tormented me whenever possible. My younger cousin followed suit. One day, they shoved me into the artificial lake on campus. I let myself sink, numb to everything. Then a splash. Someone had jumped in after me. It was Zachary. Even in icy water, he shone. He pulled me to safety. "What the hell, Natalie?" he scolded, shivering. "Why didn't you yell for help?"
Call me next time.
"I'll take care of it. Nobody's going to mess with you again." After that, no one dared touch me. Another time, my cousin tricked me into eating a cake loaded with nuts, knowing I was allergic. I couldn't breathe. On the brink of death, Zachary appeared and rushed me to the hospital. And then there was the fire. My aunt's house caught ablaze. Smoke filled my lungs. I couldn't see. Zachary burst through the flames, carried me on his back, step by agonizing step, until we were safe. The fire left him scarred, permanently. Back then, I cried uncontrollably. Zachary wiped my tears with a gentle hand and a carefree smile. "It's nothing," he said. "Just a scar. Doesn't make me any less handsome." I only cried harder. Does it hurt? Seeing me cry made him panic. "No, not at all. Stop crying, okay? When you cry, it feels like everything in me hurts." That was the Zachary I once knew. The boy who would dive into a burning building to save me. But now, he would do the same for someone else. Years later, Zachary, the golden boy with a perfect life, lost everything. His family fell apart, their fortune wiped out. The world he knew collapsed around him, leaving him in ruins. I stood on my tiptoes and kissed away his tears. "You still have me," I whispered. "I'll stay with you no matter what." I chose a college in the city to stay by his side. We married immediately after graduation. He loved me deeply. We were poor but happy, living in a tiny, windowless apartment with strangers. Every penny was budgeted as we paid off debts. Our only luxury was walking hand in hand at night. Even sitting in silence together felt like having everything. One night, after a few drinks, he held my hand, eyes sparkling. From his pocket, he pulled out a delicate necklace. "Wear this for now. Someday, I'll get you something better." But none could replace that first necklace. It remained my favorite. People admired how Zachary treated me. "He's one of the rare ones," they'd say. "He never forgets those who stood by him when he had nothing." For a long time, I believed that too. If it weren't for Aria, maybe I still would. But I was so wrapped up in memories of who he used to be that I refused to see the man he had become. I clung to the past, blinding myself to betrayal, giving him chance after chance to hurt me. Not anymore. Now I was awake, free. The wedding began. I walked down the aisle, my arm linked with my father's. Step by step, we approached the stage where Austin waited. My father turned to me, expression solemn but proud, and placed my hand in Austin's. Austin smiled, reaching for the ring. But just as he was about to slip it onto my finger, the heavy doors burst open with a crash. Gasps rippled through the room. There, in the doorway, was Zachary. Bloody, suit torn, one leg dragging behind him, leaving a trail of red across the floor. He ignored security and locked eyes on me. "Natalie," he said, voice breaking. The room fell silent. He staggered forward, step by agonizing step, until he reached the stage. "Natalie," he pleaded, trembling, "don't do this. Don't marry him. I'm begging you, come back to me." His words hung in the air, pressing down on everyone. This was my wedding with Austin. The guest list was filled with prominent figures, people my parents had spent years building connections with. I had no intention of becoming the talk of the town in a humiliating way, nor did I want to ruin the day my parents had worked so hard to organize. I gestured for Austin to call security. Without hesitation, they escorted Zachary out of the venue. That brief interruption didn't derail the ceremony. Everything else went smoothly, and by the time we had completed all the rituals and said goodbye to the guests, the day felt almost perfect. As the last guest left, I turned to Austin. "Can I have a little time to deal with what just happened? I need to talk to him and end this properly." Austin didn't hesitate. His trust in me was unshakable. "Go ahead," he said calmly, his voice quiet but reassuring. "Be careful. If you need me, just call. I'll be right here." For some reason, his steadiness gave me a sense of safety I hadn't felt in a long time. Zachary had been placed in a side room, with security stationed outside to ensure he didn't cause any more disruptions. As I approached, a guard stepped forward, looking concerned. He was in a car accident and lost a lot of blood. We've been trying to get him to go to the hospital, but he refuses. He keeps saying he won't leave until he talks to you. If he keeps this up, he could be in serious danger. I nodded and stepped inside. Zachary was slouched in a chair, pale as a sheet, sweat glistening on his forehead. Pain etched across his face. But when he saw me, his eyes lit up and a weak smile broke through. "Natalie," he said, voice trembling, "you came. Please come home with me. Let's go back." Once, I had loved him deeply, but now, "You're injured," I said calmly. "You need to go to the hospital. We can talk later." He shook his head stubbornly. "No, I won't go. Not unless you promise to come home with me." I sighed, patience wearing thin. "Zachary, we're over. I'm married now. You need to let this go and move on." "No," he shouted, voice cracking. "I don't accept that. Who said we're over? I never agreed to it." "Zachary," I said softly but firmly, "the moment you decided to marry Arya, we were done. I sent you a message ending things. You didn't respond, which I took as your way of agreeing." His face twisted with desperation. "I didn't see your message." "Natalie, listen to me," he rushed out. "If this is about Arya, I can explain. I didn't mean to hide anything. I don't love her. I never did. I only agreed to marry her because I felt sorry for her. Her parents were forcing her into a marriage she didn't want. It was supposed to be a fake arrangement, nothing more." He paused, voice breaking. "Natalie, you have to believe me. Arya means nothing. She's just someone we helped through school. She calls me her brother. I helped her because of that bond. From the beginning, the only person I've ever loved is you." I laughed bitterly. If it was all so innocent, why lie to me? Where was your respect? He froze, searching for words. I was wrong to hide it, but I only did it for you. I didn't want you to worry or overthink. I didn't want to see you hurt. I shook my head, calm but resolute. I don't know what's true or false anymore, but it doesn't matter. None of it matters now. His face crumbled. "It's over, Zachary. You don't need to explain anything. I've moved on." He shot to his feet, frantic, but the sudden motion pulled at his injured leg. Pain seared through him. Beads of sweat rolled down his face. "Natalie," he said, voice shaking, "I know I've made mistakes. I thought I'd lost you forever. It felt like the world was ending." He stepped toward me, dragging his injured leg. I was desperate to make things right. "Natalie, this is my punishment. I deserve it, but please don't leave me. I love you. Let's start over. I'll do anything." I spoke with unsettling calmness. "Zachary, stop struggling. There's no shame in admitting you've fallen out of love. I believe you loved me once, but now you don't love me anymore." "No, that's not true. I still love you." I smiled coldly. "You say you love me, but you forget what I like. You give gifts for Arya, not me. You forget my birthday, our anniversary. When things got dangerous, when I needed you most, you abandoned me for someone else. Is that what love looks like? Because if it is, your love is cheap." His expression crumbled as he realized my indifference. "I lost my way," he whispered. "I mistook pity for love. I even used Arya to provoke you. I was blind. But Natalie, it's always been you. Please, let's start over." "No," I said, quietly steady. "I don't love you anymore. You don't deserve my love. I deserve a love that's pure and unwavering, a partner fully devoted to me." I turned and walked away. He stumbled after me, dragging his leg, blood seeping onto the floor. "Natalie," he gasped, "don't go." I turned once, cold and firm. "Stop trying to play the victim. It won't work." He flinched, trembling, eyes filled with despair. I didn't stay to listen. I walked to Austin, who waited with a calm, steady smile. I placed my hand in his. Together, we walked away without looking back. Later, I learned the aftermath. Arya had been critically injured in the car crash that day and did not survive. Zachary, desperate to reach me, refused medical treatment until it was too late. His leg was so damaged it had to be amputated. Years passed. Austin and I had a child together, a beautiful little boy. And Zachary? He still wandered, telling anyone who would listen, "Where's my Natalie? Who took my Natalie away?" Almost to himself, he added, "If you're 18-year-old Zachary and you ever meet 28-year-old Zachary, don't forgive him.